Welcome to Voices of Vision, Stories of Soul. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Massage and Mindset with Catherine on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Our focus is spiritually minded small business owners. Meet our sponsor, Lisa Hoffman, author of Priestess of Lilith and the Energetic Shadow Work Journal. Discover her shadow work classes and community on her website, lisahoffman.au/goddess. Welcome to Voices of Vision, Stories of Soul. My name is Catherine, and you already know me as a remedial massage therapist, wellbeing consultant, business owner, workshop facilitator, author, artist, and creative community advocate. I live in Melbourne, Australia, and have all my life. I started out in the world with my children's book, My Magic Glitter Boots, being published in 2018, and studying film and drama as my background. Over the years, I've worn many hats: single mum, an end to domestic violence advocate, witchy and crystal lover, events and promotions, acting, but every path has led to the same purpose: helping people reconnect with themselves and discover the stories that inspire healing, growth, and possibilities. As the host of Voices of Vision, Stories of Soul, I sit down with people, business owners, and authors, artists to therapists, spiritual teachers, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. Together, we explore the experiences that shape them, the wisdom they've gained, and the lessons they hope to share with the world. Whether you found me through my massage practice, my books, community events, YouTube, or now through this podcast, I'm so grateful you're here, because I believe every person has a story worth telling, and every story has the power to change a life. Welcome to episode 20 of Voices of Vision, Stories of Soul, where heartfelt conversations become lasting inspiration. We are a series that celebrates the dreamers, healers, and creators shaping a more conscious world. Through heartfelt conversation, we uncover wisdom, purpose, and magic that move the soul and inspire transformation. We'd like to take a moment to show our respects to the Bunurong people, part of the Eastern Kulin Nation. We show our respects to all elders, past and present. And this, our focus is spiritually minded small business owners. And we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Massage and Mindset with Catherine on YouTube. So please like and subscribe. And today, our guest, or this afternoon for some people, from all the way from Canada, is Anna Beaumont. She's a voice coach and already an established singer from the early to late 90s. Her career began in musical theatre and moved into jazz, pop, songwriting, and recording. So the natural voice, she's a vocal coach. Methodologies are a combination of years of Anna's study in the field of psychology, spirituality, voice training, the nervous system, and the rich philosophies of the kundalini and chakra systems. Her work, The Natural Voice, is a body of work that changes lives every day. Anna, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Catherine. Lovely to be here.
So we started off in our deep dive to learn about you, that you were singing professionally back in the early to late 90s because you won a competition. And long before the work you do today around the healing power of the voice, when you look back on your younger singing self, what did she know about her voice that you understand completely differently now?
Oh, okay, that is the best question, Catherine. Wow, what did she know about her voice and how has that changed? It's changed like 180 degrees, I would imagine. I think, there's like an innocence, a naivete of this young singer who is just going into the world all bright-eyed, and just thinking and not really thinking about what I'm doing, but just expressing myself and just singing for the love of it and wanting to share. And then life happens. Life happens, and then there's all of these. All of a sudden, the voice starts to change, and my body's changing, and oh my goodness, and then I learn about the nervous system. If I could be with my younger self now, and I actually do think about this part of me that was naively going out there and performing and singing and sort of wanting to be a big sister to her, you know,
Yeah.
and take her under my wing because, you know, yeah.
Do you feel this immense amount of like gratitude? I imagine.
I feel gratitude, and I think I feel also that it was a different time, Catherine. It was
Yeah.
pre-Me Too. And so there was a lot of scallywagging,
Yes.
meaning there was a lot of
Okay.
appropriate men at that, and at that time, a lot of like the managers, the producers. It was for a woman, a young woman like myself.
Mm,
There was a lot of things that I was supposed to do, which I didn't do, which
mm,
means that actually, because I was offered a record deal, I was
mm,
offered two record deals at the same time,
mm.
actually three, and the things that I was going to have to do. So I was, what I am is proud of myself and the decisions that I made to keep myself safe.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, so you did a lot of performing. You um have some really nice relationships with your own writing, like writing music yourself. And it's like you've gone on to create this the natural voice concept to teach people how to tune into their own um oh, I just love it with voice, how it just breaks up. Voice just breaks up into so many different
It does.
elements. I was just kind of thinking that. I was thinking because, because it's basically it's at the forefront of your personality. So
Yeah.
whatever kind of person that you are, when you're delivering a vocal like experience, you're either told how to do it, or your own voice is the thing that's going to be your personality, basically. So it must be really interesting to work with people.
Yes, and it's changed and morphed over the years. And as I have become more and more embodied and have learned so much about my own body, as well as so many students, teaching me how to work with them and understanding that the voice, this performance voice, there's a whole other voice here, which is our healing voice, our natural voice that that we can use as a way to heal
Yeah.
and to connect, but in ways that are quite magical,
Mm.
ways that are aligning, ways that alchemize, ways that purify, ways that transform. Because when we sing, and if we sing and we are in alignment and we are doing all these right things, it connects to all of the chakras.
Yeah. That's so funny that you say that, because I imagine when my healing voice is actually performance. So literally getting the brush, dancing around, karaoke. I love karaoke. Oh, what did they say? Um, I like a performance voice. I like a really loud. Um, yeah,
Okay.
so it's really interesting that you say. So you often say your voice is your medicine. Can you remember the first moment in your own life when your voice healed something for you, or a communication that you've used?
That is another great question, and I remember it so well. I was really in the thick of all of my albums and recordings and tourings, and I had started to lose my voice. And so there was this moment that I really do feel that I was led to sit and to be still and to then learn how one note, just one note, if it's in the right stillness of the person, can drop into the body and become this medicine.
Mm,
And I went into a a very long, I don't know, however many years of really tapping and tuning in to these notes that I would just let them drop in because the voice that is coming outside of us that we hear is also going inside of us, equal and oppositely.
Yeah. Especially if you've known that you've shared your voice, it must be like there must be a much more like cataclysmic experience if you feel
Oh,
like you don't have that
yeah.
anymore than if you just hadn't experienced the depth of sharing your voice in full capacity like you do if you have an album and music into the world and that kind of thing. um Many people think losing their voice is about confidence, but what have you discovered? What do you think? Like, I know, okay, so that's really interesting. So I guess when you're doing your training, is it a vocal training or is it a meditation?
It is working with the elements of stillness and sound because in order for us to have a sound that is a sound, one note that will access the whole body, the body itself has to be made aware of.
Yes.
So it's both of it. So the analogy that I have is a building and an elevator.
Oh,
So in order for the elevator, which is the voice, to move up and down, the building can't be moving.
yes.
Now that doesn't mean that we can't move, but because there's so much excessive movement in our lives, the nervous system is always moving.
Yeah.
We need to create a really strong still point
Yeah.
in order for things to expedite and to be quicker, in order for a person to be able to feel themselves without all, because we cannot feel if we're not aware.
Yes. I think voice is the way you talk about voice is it's so it really reminds me of how powerful our voices are. From that point of view, if you do meditation, if you do kind of spiritual work, it's so different to actually let those vocal cords come out and be exercised outside of the body, obviously, because then you're going to hear yourself as well.
Yeah.
Um, but like, I mean, because you imagine that the voice is kind of shared. I having an acting background, I think what it does to me is it reminds me of like the script. So I would read the script and then we kind of get accustomed to this blurb of hearing ourselves. That's why I probably enjoy the karaoke element, but
Right.
I also do. I really like chakra work and I really like meditation. And I know that when I do, and yoga and things like that, and when we tune into the voice, we kind of have these kind of sounds. And I'm thinking about that sound to myself. And even just thinking about my own sound of that helps me to like, I feel like it takes my anxiety or my physical comfort down a notch so that I kind of feel more comfortable in my own body. So I know exactly, I can see exactly how the
Yeah.
voice is more than just like you say, well, obviously the stillness is very important. You can't run and do this sort of work. It's not going to work at all. I love how you've actually said that, being someone that's multitasking and everything, because
Right.
that made me think for a second exactly how powerful the voice is.
And it depends if you want to access your wholeness.
Yeah.
If you want to access your wholeness, then that's my jam, right?
Yeah.
And and I have systems in order to get people to really go there quickly, uh, in order for a person to really feel one note, and that one note is light. So you can think of vibration as like light, and it lights up
Oh,
what we are
it
feeling in our
sounds so
body.
beautiful. It sounds so beautiful. It's like that first cry for the little baby, how the little baby's born. And I'm doing I've just been recently trained in baby massage. I'm a massage therapist by
Oh,
trade.
right.
So I recently coursed through uh pediatric infant massage training. So it's not me touching any children, or it's teaching the parents what to do for reflux and
Oh,
colic,
okay.
that kind of thing. But what I love is that it's like, I love it when it's something, a talent or a skill or a technique kind of slightly shows into somebody else's gifts. I really love that. Like, I am not a vocal coach, but I love the idea that there's that nurturing, it's like there's this kind of sympathetic nervous system scenario that you're giving to the other person in order to sort of shine and bring their own kind of, soul energy or spark of confidence, or to kind of bring out yeah,
Yeah.
more of them. um so you've worked with singers, speakers, and everyday people. Have you noticed a common emotional thread that almost everyone carries into the room before they begin to sing?
Yes. Well, there's usually fear. People are usually, when they're going to come to see me, there's this old paradigm of the voice teacher. You can see it in your head, where I'm going to tell this person that they don't sing well and I have to. So it's usually the fear, but as soon as I connect them back to their own body and help them to connect to their voice and their body together and show them what it is that I do, uh, it changes immediately. And if everyone has an issue, we always think that is the throat, that is the issue. But it's not really. It's the solar plexus power. It's our issues with power that we have the problem with.
Okay.
Because there's an over singing and there's under singing. So that's a person in their life being underpowered and feeling very shy and weak, maybe.
Yeah.
Powerless. Powerless. There's a person who sings who feels powerless in their lives, and they come to me, and the way that they sing is reflecting how they're living their lives. There's a person that is powerful, and that person is overpowering, and that is reflected in the nervous system, and they're showing me how they're living in their lives. And both sides are not great. Both sides need balancing.
Yeah. Wow. I love it. Yeah, I love the voice. I love singers. I love how music really changes. I'll just, go into the story that I was telling you when we
Yeah.
first jumped on here, that I came back from work last night. My mood was just not stable. I couldn't really pinpoint it because I was happy. I was happy in my bubble, and there was, but I kept saying there's nothing wrong. I have no problem, but I was in this mood and I couldn't quite work it out. And then I started to do some research. I wanted to find out all about my guest, because I really love, that's my favorite part of having people on, to just learn about other people's experiences and what got them to who they are, and this, just, it's so interesting. And I think it's because I secretly love biographies, and so it's kind of like a short version of that every time I come on to speak to people. So I find your beautiful music, and then I just thought, oh my gosh, and I started listening straight away. And I realized how, like you say, how music has changed
Mm.
from from the pre 2000s. For me, the only way I can explain that is because it was so much more coming from nowhere. Like, we didn't have kind of Spotify or whatever like that. So you would have to buy, you would have to make a purchase, you would have to have, a relationship to the biggest fish. And at a certain age, that's just kind of you lose hold of that because other things become more important.
Yeah.
Um, and also just that, encompassing. I really wanted to be like a pop star. When I was a
Oh,
teenager, I was like, I'm going to be a pop star. I'm going to be
thanks.
famous. I'm going to.
I hear you. I hear
Um,
you.
yeah, because I think for me it was vocal expression that I really was trying to achieve, and attention to this is it, like a this is it sort of a moment, which I think is really important to build confidence. I think that that that's something that can be missing for people that are looking for a coach or looking for confidence building. I actually think that the voice is
Yeah.
a really exceptional way to gain um, like leverage or like an intimate relationship to your skills. And it
Yeah.
doesn't mean you're going to be a singer, but it just kind of means you
Doesn't
might.
matter.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
huge.
yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
I really
Uh,
love that idea. Do you have do you have online like like ways for people to get in touch with you?
Yes, I work with people all over the world one to one, and then they sometimes end up coming into small groups online, and then I have retreats that I do in Mexico and Costa Rica and different places
Wow.
that are so great to be immersed in. And the last one I did was called Yoga Voice, so it's putting together a combination of the yoga and the voice, which is a beautiful thing to do. And if yeah, so there's absolutely people can reach me, and if people want to, because the thing is that a lot of people are coming to me that are struggling.
Mm.
Like this is about trauma. This is about powerlessness. This is women's voices that have been cut off because of the patriarchy, because of their own lives. And so there are a lot of women out there that need their voices because as you said, as you said at the beginning, it's such a big thing to we need our voice to speak on behalf of us, hey?
Yeah.
And to say no and to say yes. And a lot of so many women have not been able to have that privilege of saying no.
I think that's something I really struggle to understand, but then I think there's always an undercurrent. So I think that when I see people that do struggle to hear their own, like for their own sort of, like you say, their opinion, their own um, pushing through the anxiety in their own voice, so to speak, I think, oh gosh, they need to, there's you feel like being more assertive will help. You feel like being more you feel maybe confidence. You feel like these, but it is actually it's a journey and it's a work in progress. It's not you pass the course and then you're going to have like your own exhibit of a human being forever. It does not work like that.
No.
It requires constant work. Tell me more about these programs. They sound really amazing and really fulfilling. And yeah, tell us more about like tell us. I love retreats. Tell me about the retreats.
The retreats are 7 days long. And I just did a 3 day retreat a couple weeks ago. And it's a beautiful way of women to come together. It's a kind of a witchy thing to do, you know.
Okay, love it. Love it.
I know. And they're again encompassing the stillness and then allowing sound to come out of any kind and just let it rip. And then the natural voice exercises are these beautiful exercises, these that sew up the body with vibrations and energy and comes together so that one note again does reflect the wholeness of the person. But we can't do that for hours and hours and hours. So there's opportunities for people to perform. So when people come to these retreats, they're not performers, but they end up getting up and singing anyway, and that's a very very special thing. Is to have people walk through their fear. I think you talked about that a moment ago, and right,
Yes.
it's just like walk through the fear and really, and just like oh, just do it anyway. And to witness that, I witnessed that a great deal, and it's always magical to
Yes.
see somebody doing that. And it like you can, so there's a 3 month program that I run, which is in person, where people are going to be learning 1 to 2 to 3 songs and that they're going to perform. And I say to them, it's not about the performance per se, but it's about the journey. Because if you get up there and if it feels like it's going to be something that's going to injure you, you know,
Yes.
then don't do it. Like this is not about the actual performance, but it's about walking towards something
Yeah.
that your nervous system feels that there's a tiger coming out,
Yeah.
and is heal you.
Yeah.
And you know, for some women, that has been the case in us, obviously smaller, but traumas are a really big thing in everybody, and the voice itself is very affected by traumas and by wounds and injuries and held back energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the work that I do is helping women to really get their voice out, but in a way that creates beauty and stillness and well-being.
Yeah. That's yeah. I think that's as an on like as a woman that's always working on myself. That just sounds so beautiful, so amazing. I'm so glad to hear. More than anything, I'm so glad to hear about the stories of there being women that are going and just doing
I
like this
know.
voice. I think like not to take away from monks or like the religious singing that I might that might come to my mind in a peaceful setting. I think there's a lot of chanting out there about, or
Yeah.
not about, but with this kind of manly male tone. And
Oh
maybe
yeah.
I feel like in this day where we can just about choose the voice for our GPS or whatever like that. I
Yeah.
love the idea of women getting together and just being vocal in a beautiful tuned, with a professional, beautiful tuned song. And it just reminds me when I put your music on last night that I just needed to chuck a few more female voices into the mix for myself, that are not so much, directly off the track or directly off the traffic of my life, but also I'm very grateful to have you here because this is part of my experience, and then I get to throw some of that music into my mix as well, which I really appreciate.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um, so yeah, so just imagine everyone listening today pauses after this episode and gives themselves just 5 quiet minutes. What's one simple practice that you'd invite them to experience so they can hear themselves a little bit more clearly?
Okay. Well, there's this one exercise that I think that you and I can do. And so we know that there's toning and there's many exercises, but if you can touch your third eye with the sound of your voice up high, excuse me, that will start to get the energies in your body to rise up to a higher level. So we don't want just the sound of our voices to think that it's just here. We want it to come up so that we are seen, so that we are heard, but that the sound of our voice stimulates the area of being seen so that we can be seen and be heard.
Mm.
So if I'm going to do a note, and I want everybody to do this with me, I want you to just feel for about 5 seconds right in your eye level or just up in your third eye, and just focus for a moment there. And let the energy of your body rise up to where your attention is. Let it, just like anti-gravity, just let it move up. And I want you to use the sound of an ooh. And Catherine, do you wanna try that and just see if you can find your forehead with your sound?
Okay, that feels strange.
Can you go up quite high? Can you go up a bit higher?
I've got to do my okay, yeah. I'm a lose. I don't lose my voice, but I don't have a.
Right.
I have a voice. I have one of those voices where other people say you have such a great voice, but then I feel self-conscious because because it's like it feels like,
Oh,
yeah, it just feels um because I did some radio work when I was way young, like 16, 17, 18. I left school to do radio announcing actually. That all the first all felt really nice. It actually felt like clarity. It actually felt like quite a pure feeling.
mm,
So I did actually enjoy kind of like it felt freedom, clarity,
Right.
clear. Um,
Can I do
yeah,
it? Can I do
yeah,
it for myself?
yes.
So that you can, so I'm gonna go up. Let me just see what comes out.
Wow, wow. That was such a good share. I love that. That's truly that's great.
And
It's
just makes
really,
me feel really good, makes you feel good. And it really is this whole person, whole being sound.
yes,
And it's
yes.
quite delicate, isn't
It
it?
really is. Yeah. I feel like my energy feels different from like when you hear sound, it makes the audit like it makes the ears take
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I think that's just so important and so special to hear the way that different people would echo that experience is in itself. It's such a beautiful thing because it's one way to have a story. It's one way to show how one person is different from another person, and also why one, well, not why one, why we're special because we have
Yes.
that sound, that voice. None of it is wrong. You can't make a mistake. It's just whatever it is. I really love that as an exercise. That's just beautiful. Just a beautiful closing question. When people leave your presence, what do you hear in themselves that they couldn't hear before they met? Or could you just tell us, um, like you're discovering of an authentic voice? Um, like tell us about the courage. Like tell us about the courage.
Yeah. Oh, the courage. The courage to make notes that they have never made before, which then in turn opens up the energies in them. That is the biggest thing. Making the sound is the trigger.
Yeah,
That triggers a whole domino effect of good feelings.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
good feelings that are so available to people when they think they're so depressed, they're this, they're that. But when they find the right note and what it makes them feel in their body, and that is where the real surprise comes in that they could make that sound,
yeah.
but that made them feel alive.
When we talk to people that always have so much enthusiasm and real expectation, to be able to share their knowledge, it makes me so happy. Thank you for
Mm.
being here. And thank you also to the listeners for coming along and for tuning in and for supporting small business. Thank you and for listening to Voices of Vision, Stories of Soul. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Massage and Mindset with Catherine on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Anna, thank you so much for being here and talking to us about this amazing topic. I really enjoyed our connection and meeting and talking to you today, learning all about your story and learning about your the natural voice methodologies. And could you tell the listeners your website and how to get in touch?
Yes. It's annabeaumont.com, and they can just sign up for my newsletter. And there's also, they can join something called 30-Minute Connections, which is where I do all of the things that we talked about in here and more in 30 minutes. And it's a beautiful reset for their week.
Yes.
So just they can check that out on my website too.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you,
And thank you so
Catherine.
much for being here.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to Voices of Vision, Stories of Soul. You can find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Massage and Mindset with Catherine on YouTube. Please like and subscribe.